Hi, Mike here from Better Happy. Organizations from around the world are facing two major problems when it comes to growing through their people. That is employee engagement and employee well-being. If you understand that this is a global problem, which I'm going to help you understand today, you can then start to proactively address this problem before it shows its ugly face, and you can reduce the symptoms of these problems within your organization. I'm just going to share my screen with you now and show you the process that we use to address this global problem. As I said, it's a global problem. So it's not a problem specifically within your organization, or I'm sure it might be, but it's a problem from around the world because of two reasons. The way in which we live our lives is encouraging us to be unhealthy. So it's removing our likelihood of good well-being for obvious reasons. We're more sedentary work. We eat more processed foods. We look at our phones more. And because our education system tends to train us not to be aware of our own strengths and motivators and develop ourselves. So what happens is we go into work with being poorly armed to look after ourselves and not being very well armed to develop ourselves, which is what leads to engagement. Okay, so how can you address that problem in your organization? Very quickly, without confusing you, you can copy this. You need an insights phase, and that means that you need to survey your people on a regular basis. Minimum of quarterly, should be monthly, and you should be speaking to your people more regularly. But you should be doing a survey on employee engagement. There's so many providers on the internet now, you're spoiled for choice, and also employee well-being. Ideally, you'll find a survey or make a survey that asks questions on both. That's what we do. Don't address one without the other. Next, then, you need a self-awareness phase. So people, when they come into your organization, should do some form of profiling that makes them aware of their strengths, their motivators, and their own personal values and vision in life. Once they know that, you can make sure that they're in the right seat, which is good for them and good for you. But also you can make sure that you're armed to coach and develop that person on an ongoing basis. If a person doesn't develop on an ongoing basis because we're all lazy by nature, and often in small businesses, the bosses try to be nice and not put too much pressure on their people in regards to development. But actually what this leads to is people feeling stagnant, not growing, losing their mojo, and not feeling engaged at work. So we've got to make sure that we're helping people develop and doing that in line with the vision and values of the organization. Well-being, you can't ignore well-being. Okay, you don't need to provide your people gym memberships or perk boxes or flapjacks. You need to provide them. Those things are great, but you need to provide your people with the solution to the basis of the problem, which is basic training in how to be good at movement, how to be good at nutrition, how to be good at sleep, and how to be good at some form of being aware of stress management. It doesn't need to be complex. I'm talking like less than 90-minute sessions here to give people the frameworks to address the basics. And that should be part of your onboarding process. You can do it virtually, you can do it live, you can do it with videos, but just putting some form of training in place to help people be aware of the importance of those four components. If people are coming into an organization to work for you and you're requiring them to be sedentary for 8 hours a day and sat at a desk, it's almost imperative that you give them some training to show them how to offset the negatives of sitting at a desk. By doing so, you're going to counteract so many problems before they become a problem, which is obviously cheaper, less stressful, and creates massive levels of appreciation from your employees. Moving down into the personal development phase, down at the bottom right here, this is what I touched on before, but ensuring that your management team is actually coaching your employees. Okay, management's out the window. Just telling somebody to work hard and achieve their goals without any kind of development is not good, and it's been lost with the Industrial Revolution, thank God. So we need to make sure that we're developing our people, that we are coaching them, and we're talking to them about their vision and their goals at work, but out of work as well. This is huge for keeping retention and increasing the engagement levels of your people. Just asking them what they want to achieve and providing them with some support. And then finally, you want to make sure that your environment and your culture supports health and supports engagement. Okay, so good lines of communication. You need to make sure that the people at the leadership of the organization are taking time off, are looking after themselves, aren't going into work at 6 a.m, leaving at 10 at night, not eating any food all day. You need to make sure that the leadership are looking after themselves, and then that's trickling down to the people. We recommend at a minimum here that you do you do your regular surveys, and that you run some form of challenge or at least some kind of awareness campaign where you make sleep the topic for the month. And that creates a culture of good health and engagement. If you just put these systems in place at a level 1 out of 10, so you put the very basics in place without much thought at all, you're going to be miles ahead of most other employers, and you're going to see amazing results with your people, because you're addressing the problem head on. If you ignore any of these areas, then you're going to face these problems eventually if you're adding people to your business. Businesses have got the power to change the world. I know that sounds very lofty and very airy, but they have. Okay, even if you're a law firm or whatever it might be, you do all this incredible work with your clients, but you can change the world as well. And 9 times out of 10, we need people to do that, and that should be a pleasurable, enjoyable experience. These two things are global problems for the reasons that I've covered, so we can choose to address them head on and stop them before they become major issues, or we can ignore them and spend all the time, money, and stress on trying to get rid of the symptoms once they've popped up. So please feel free to copy that process and implement it into your organization however you see fit. If you want some questions to help with that, don't hesitate to drop me a message. And if you want to have a chat about us helping you to do that, of course, I'd love to chat with you. Have a great day and keep doing what you do.